Hi, I hope all is going well and you're having a beautiful, blessed day today. Today I want to hang out with you a little bit and share with you guys my sermon notes from this past weekend. We are in a sermon series called Where is God? And it is a question that I'm sure a lot of people are asking at this time. And so we started this sermon series, or pastoral staff started this sermon series. And so today we are looking at where is God in the pandemic. And I'm sure a lot of you and I am asking that question as well. Okay, so where is God in the pandemic? The answer to that question is God is where He always is, doing what He always does. And what He always does is this: God is demonstrating His divine attributes and authority through three things. One, His general revelation and common grace. So general revelation and common grace refer to general revelation refers to the fact that we know that God exists because we see things in nature. We see things when we go outside, like the sun shining on us and the flowers blooming and the rain falling when it falls. And that's general revelation. Nature is considered God's general revelation. God's common grace is that every day that we wake up, when we are blessed to wake up, we see sunshine or rain or cold or hot. We see all of the things that God wants us to see in that revelation, whether we believe in Him or not. So just because you might have a mindset where you don't believe in God and you don't believe that He exists doesn't mean that, John doesn't believe in me or Judy doesn't believe in me, so I am not gonna make the sun shine on him today, because he doesn't deserve that. God thinks that we all deserve those things, those common grace parts of Him. So that is number one. Point number one. And point number two is that he reveals Himself in the life of individuals. So, or He exercises His authority through the life of individuals. So I can take that. There's two ways that could be taken. And the first way that I took it, even before my pastor started explaining it the way he sees it, was that God can use people to bring other people to Himself. So every time I either go out or not go out, but every time I get the courage to tell the story of my birth and what that entailed and what my early life was like, that could be something that is used for the purpose of bringing somebody to Christ. Or every time I get the courage to tell people how I became a follower of Jesus Christ and what that entailed, that could be used as something that God can use to bring somebody to Jesus Christ. But the way that it was presented in our notes was that God reveals His self through to His people through the lives of other people, in the way that He is not slow in keeping His promises. Like, The Bible says one day he'll come back and collect or get all of his followers to go home with him to heaven. But that hasn't happened yet. So the reason why that hasn't happened yet is because God hasn't seen everybody that he wants to come to him. Yes, in the end, there are going to be people that totally reject him and don't hear the message and don't want to hear the message and accept him as Lord and Savior. But for those of us who have and those of us who will, he already knows who will. He already knows that he needs to put off coming back so that everybody that is supposed to accept him will accept him. And so that's why he is slow in what he's doing. It's not the fact that he's not keeping his promises. He is just gracious in his timing. And the number three thing where God reveals his divine authority is through the ministry of his church. And now more than ever, we have seen that the church is not a building. And we often say, oh, come to church with me. Come to church with me. At least I know that's my thing. I do. Because I believe that God gave me my gift of singing and my love of singing in order to invite people to church. Because without that, I don't think, if I didn't have that desire and that passion for music, and if God didn't create me to share my ministry that way, I don't think I would invite people to church as often as I do. So he gives us all a ministry. Whether it be the ministry to encourage people, the ministry to sing, the ministry to fill in the blank, hospitality, speaking, everything that can be done can be used as a ministry if we let it be used as a ministry. Okay, so with that said, you guys, I want to go into something a little bit different. Our life groups start this week. I'm getting like all tongue-tied and I don't know why. But our life groups start this week. And since we are in the situation we are in, we are going to go fully online. So I have been meeting with my loved ones from my life group since the week after we went into the shutdown. Because the week of the shutdown, we didn't really know it was a shutdown. We thought, okay, 2 weeks, this will all blow over and we will be back in our building, back on our comfy couches, and we had our own little living space, as it were, in the church. And so we have been meeting on Zoom for the last few weeks, and we will be meeting on Zoom for the foreseeable future. And so the questions were released that within our sermon notes that we need to look at. And some of the icebreakers are some things that I want to share with you right now. And I truly ask you about right now. And please be honest. Don't be afraid of honesty. But the first question was, what are you mourning as a result of the pandemic. So honestly, I am mourning the loss of giving somebody a hug that is not part of my family. I am mourning the loss of inviting people to church and inviting people to come hear us sing and celebrate and just be in that place where I'm like, singing on stage is my happy place. And I will go into a little bit of a revelation of something that I did. When I last saw my friend John Lloyd Young on the 21st of February, I finally got the courage again to ask him, "Hey, what are you doing for Easter? Wow, why don't you come to our church?" And he said, "Well, okay." And it looked like a resounding yes at that point. So, because I invited him along with Johnny Canizaro, and I would have invited Renee Marino, but she was going to go back home to New Jersey, so I didn't invite her. But she would have been invited had she lived in Los Angeles. And I invited them, and I invited a bunch of my other friends who, performer friends who I became friends with through Michael Sterling, just to celebrate Easter with us. And some people said no because they were they were expecting to travel out of the state. And so that was fine, and I knew that at some point through my family that somehow it would get recorded, and somehow I would be able to share the video of the recording with my friends, with everybody that I wanted to go that did not show up. But then also a spectacular thing happened where we went online as a church shortly after the call for the shutdown of big groups came. We started streaming our services, and my friend and director James Bean had the brilliant idea of doing a tile video. If you guys haven't seen a tile video, go check one out, whether if it's ours or not. But what a tile video is it's done on your personal camera, and then it's sent to whoever is in charge of putting it together within your group or association or whatever. And then they put it together in tiles. I have seen some amazing videos done, and I was just so blessed to be part of it, part of one. And so that was a awesome blessing that came out of this. And honestly, we were talking about it in the following life group session that we had. And we had figured out, and the church figured out, that the number of people that saw church and that attended our church service online and attended and saw all the videos, like the music video that we did, were substantially more people than would have come through our doors. Because we only have 3 services a week We have 2 services on Sunday and 1 service on Saturday night at 5:30. But with the invention of technology, we have reached out to so many more people. And so God is using this, whether we know it or not. And so I just want to kind of leave you guys with that encouragement. And the next question that is an icebreaker question is, what are the first 3 things that you are going to do when this is all over? So the first 3 things that I'm going to do is go get my hair cut and colored, go to a concert at one of my favorite venues, either Vitello's or Sterling's, or both, if I could pull it off in that month. And then go to a play. My mom had bought me tickets to go see Hamilton, for her and I to go see Hamilton on April 2nd. And she was really, really sweet about finding the perfect date that didn't run into any of my performances or any of my rehearsals. So April 2nd was going to be our day to go see one of the best musicals ever. And I hope that someday I'll get that chance. But for the foreseeable future, nobody is going to shows anymore, and that's really sad. But when we do go, we are going to go with such gusto and a new appreciation of where we are, because I hope and I think that our leaders have expressed this as well. I hope that when we do go back, that we won't see anything as just, another day. We will see things as, wow, I get to do that. There are so many people that I listen to. One being Mel Robbins. I don't know if you guys know who Mel Robbins is, but she is a speaker and she's the number one female motivational speaker in the world right now. And she is the author of a book called The 5-Second Rule. And she often says that we need to change our language from, I have to do that, to, I get to do that. And I know a lot of other people that I follow that are motivational speakers and business leaders will say that. But it's kind of become habit for many of us to say, I have to fill in the blank, or I have to do that, or I have to go to the store, or I have to get this done before I can do this. I have to dress up today. There are some times where I've been like, man, I gotta put on my good underclothes because I have to dress up today. And even in the best of times when I want to do something, like I want to go to a concert, I want to go to a play, I will still think of some of the pieces of the things that I do as I have to do that in order so I could do this. But now I hope that there are going to be many, many, many people out in the world that will say, I get to do that. I get the privilege of doing whatever it is. Because right now we are in a quiet space where we are not doing much. So I hope that the language changes, and I just hope that we have that appreciation and it stays for a long time, even or especially the rest of our lives. And now, okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to you guys. In a comment, I want you guys to leave me those two things. What are the first three things that you are going to do when this pandemic is over? And what is something that you are mourning right now? Leave me those. Both of those or either one of those in a comment, and I will be sure to read them and be praying for you guys. I will not share them because I know they are personal and private, but feel free to share those with me, and I look forward to talking to you again soon, and I love you guys. Thank you for being here, and I hope that all is going well. I'll talk to you later. Bye.